How's everybody doing? I'm I'm winding up one of my watches that we're talking about selling watches. This was one of the watches that I had planned to sell. And so this will I'm not going to use this as a forum for that. Let me check with you guys. Is the sound and the video okay? How you doing, Brian? Got on my see how I do this. What's the focus is really weird. This is my new Ovale pantograph. Sound and video worked on. Hey, Mark, how's it going? Everything works. Yeah, I've got I'm still working on the lighting. My bright light. I think it was a little too strong. So I'm sort of in this sort of almost this artsy lighting that I ended up with without trying to be that way. And this unusual, the way the focus works now on my, I, I don't know. Oh, hey, Mike's Watches. Ali, how you doing? Yeah, my new watch. I like my new watch. You can see it. Let me see how you get this thing focused. It doesn't focus too well. Hang on, let me take it off. See if I can get it focused now. Okay, here we are. It's one of the things, there it is. It's almost out of gas. You can see right below the 12, there's a little thing like this. And there's a little blue tip. That's all that's left of the power reserve on here. And I've got to be careful about this watch. This is one of those watches that I'll just be happy as a clam to wear every single day, all the time, because it's just a fun watch, fun to watch, play with, and so forth. The movement in it, oh boy, I think it's a PF 111. And the first one that Michel Parmigiani did was called a 110 for the Hebdo Madar. And so that's it. It has a Hebdo Madar, but there were some changes. And I'm not, obviously, they're going to have to change something because something's got to deal with these, the cams that are in the middle here. Let me get this thing just right. That make the I guess you'd call them the pantograph hands or the telescoping hands to go in and out. When they're on the narrow part of the oval versus the wide part of the oval. Something different. A lot of fun. Hey, Truman, how you doing? The accordion, the squeeze box. Hey, Tim. Do you know the differences between the two? Oh, on the Hebdo Madar. I imagine the only difference. I mean, they only had it different by one number. The 110 versus the 111. So I don't think there's a lot of difference. I think there was probably something they put in there that had something to do with moving the cams. I know that Michel Parmigiani, when he worked for Sandoz and Family Foundation in their collection, they have this incredible collection, and they had a Bardone, I guess the guy's name, Bardone and Stedman. That was where those couple Englishmen who had done this watch, I think it was back in 1780. I mean, it was an old idea, but nobody else did anything with it until they came out with this one. It's funny. I don't know. I think it's sort of a cool, fun thing to have. So Anyway, but I think they're essentially the same movement, Brian. Okay, let me get, what time is it? 4:06. This watch is one of my, it's one of those watches I really like, but I never do anything with. Um, this is, let me see if I can show you. Here we go. This is a Beauvais monorattrapant. And so, as everyone knows, a rattrapant has two hands that are for timing, and for timing two different things. Well, a monorattrapant sort of answers the Zen question of what's the sound of one hand clapping. What the way it works is that you see if they can see it here. Thing is really difficult to get focused right. Oh well, anyway, what happens is that you hit the top pusher. That's pretty good, and the timer starts. And then what you do, see, is it going now? Yeah. And then for the second time, well, what you do is first, as soon as the first one is done, you push the bottom pusher, and then when the second one is done, you release it, and then it jumps forward to where the second one ended, and so it's able to have two different timing things. Um, I don't know what I don't know. I'm really conflicted about it. I don't do anything with it, and so and it's a chronograph, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, um, I was thinking about what you said about the back case screws. The more I think about it, the more I believe you're right. Don't dare open me up. Yeah, they don't want people messing with it. I don't blame them. I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust it with anyone who wasn't. I don't know. I don't even know if they have any. How many people or what the deal is. One of these days, I think I'm going to get a hold of the U.S. Parmigiani Center. God knows what's going to happen with that. I don't know. The Sandoz Family Foundation may sell it. God knows. I have no idea. We'll find out. We'll be left with an orphan. Hi, Andre. It's one of those watches, when you see it, you don't forget it. That is, for years, literally for years, I wanted this. And these things are so expensive, though. They were just like, I didn't even think twice about it. I mean, it was sort of like same way that I look at Dufour Simplicity or Duality. When I look at either one of course, I'd like one of those watches. There's no one way in the world that I'll be able to get one. Same thing with a Roger Smith watch. Now, some other watches, I can see somebody selling something that sort of comes within my spider web reach, like a spider jump out. Somebody is, on sitting on a curb with a tin can full of pencils and had to watch this. So that's a good time to get one. Hi, David. I just discovered your channel a few days ago. What separates you from the rest is that watch movements. Everyone else focuses on the brand and the dial. A movement is the heart of the watch. Yeah, that's to me that's all. I mean, especially a mechanical watch. Other kinds of watches like the ones that I used to program. I I know what those are, and I don't even. I I find programming endlessly interesting, but um, that's a whole different thing, and that's how come I'm not crazy about the technology of smartwatches or even the programming of smartwatches because I already know what it is. In other words, there's not a whole lot of mystery. Whereas, figuring out these things, they're, they're one mystery after another. I'm a newbie to watches. I have a small 6-inch wrist. My favorite watch is a Patek Philippe Referent 96 with spade hands. That does sound like an interesting one. My other one is Kikuchi Nagagawa Murakumo. Isn't he? I think he's one of the new guys on the AGH, the Independent Watch Group, who makes really good watches. Okay, now we've already gone through 12 minutes. Let's talk about today's topic. I wrote down. I thought, well, I'm going to write down the watches I sold and how come I sold them, and sort of find out how you did. The first one I ever sold was an Audemars Piguet. I didn't like it when I bought it. It was, well, what did I buy it for? Because I wanted to have the Holy Trinity. I had an overseas and a Patek Philippe, so I'm going to get the Holy Trinity. So I got this Audemars Piguet that I didn't like from the beginning. It was just something was wrong with it. A lot was wrong with it, as a matter of fact. I mean, it worked fine. It worked beautifully, kept perfect time. I think it had a moon phase, among other things in it. But and what happened was that it turned out to be very fortuitous in a very strange way because I didn't quite have enough for this, for my Vacheron Constantin 1921, American 1921. Because I didn't. And so I thought, well, I asked him, I said, will you take this as a trade-in? And the guy said, well, let me check. And he came back and it was just enough so I could swing it. So this was back during what was called the Asian crisis, and I was able to get a really good buy. Anyway, okay, so the first one I used to trade in. Let me sort of share this with all of you in case you don't know it, especially with newbies. The worst way to sell a watch is on a trade-in. There's nothing, you'll get screwed on it. Okay, so just don't do it unless you're desperate or there's something on the other end that it will make up that what you're going to lose on it. Okay, now the second one that I sold was the same thing. I did it on a trade-in again. It was my wife and I were having a big anniversary, and I wanted to get her something special. And there was this gold Beauvais. It was gorgeous Beauvais. It had been $44,000. It was one of those watches that I found on the secondary market, and I was able to get a really good price on it. But the only way I could swing it was with had to give them my overseas, and so that was another trade-in. After those two trade-ins, I've never done another trade-in, and like I said, I wouldn't recommend it unless you're desperate. Now, the next watch that I sold was a watch I really liked, but I just wasn't wearing it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Vacheron Constantin 1972. It won the Prestige de France, I think is what is it was the first watch company they ever had. So they had a watch that came out in 1972, and I think it was called the Prestige de France or the Prestige de Paris. Anyway, it was called the 1972. Well, I wasn't wearing the thing, and I'd gotten a pretty good price on it because I think I got it from, which is unusual. There was a pawn shop who was selling it online, and I don't think the guy really knew that much. And so I got a pretty good deal on it and ended up selling it through an auction. I sent it to Sotheby's auction, and I got double what I paid for it. So that was from then on. Selling to an auction is the way to do it. Buying it at an auction, that's hard to recommend unless you get a watch for a great price. Because then they have this thing called a premium. Okay. By the way, there's this outfit called Bezel that has auctions that doesn't have a buyer's premium, which is nice. Okay. Now the fourth one I sold was Calatrava. At this point, when I sold the Calatrava, I had a couple H. Mosers and a couple FP Jorns, and so I was pretty well set for dress watches, and really nice dress watches. Love the Calatrava. It was pretty small though, and I kept being warned that, oh, be careful, it's really delicate. And so I thought, well, I'll sell it. And I sold it on Chrono 24. It's the only one I tried to sell on Chrono 24, and it sold. By the way, too, I don't know if this is something very weird that happens. I don't know if any of you have done this, but some people, they'll make an offer that is next to nothing. And of course, I just ignored it. But then I had another offer that wasn't great, but it was okay. And so I said, okay, fine. And then the guy ghosted me on it. So I thought, whoa, that's not, if you make an offer and somebody accepts it, you're committed to it. That's me though. I don't know if everybody feels that way. I just don't think it's right if somebody has an offer and they, especially, you lowball something, someone needs the dough or they want to get rid of the watch. Anyway, so that was how I sold my Calatrava. My Calatrava sold a little more than what I paid for it. Not a lot more, though. Okay. Now, the next three were sort of funny. Not too long ago, I had mentioned that I had to sell some watches because I'd been buying so many. And a bunch of people who were either with, they were with Watch Art Sci, or they were with the High Horology Lounge, or someone had seen me mouthing off somewhere, and they wanted them. And so I sold them to people sort of direct. There were 4 watches that I sold that way. And I tell you, they took advantage of me. It was really funny because I wasn't looking to make money. I just wanted to sell them pretty much for what I had. And this one guy said, well, I'll give you, he said, for friends and neighbor discount. Well, the guy wasn't a friend or neighbor. I just knew him from these kind of discussions. So I said, yeah, that sounds fair. So it wasn't a low ball, but it was just the way it happened. I thought it was sort of funny. And the other ones, what I asked for was, like I said, it was very reasonable. And I pretty much sold them right around what I bought them for. And sort of, then it was, I think they got a pretty good deal because it was after the prices have gone really crazy high. So those are my stories for selling watches. Now let's hear some from that you guys have. Let's see. Wow. It sounds, David, it sounds like even though you're new at this, you're picking some quality. The trick is to get quality at a great price. That's what we all try to do. Hi, Randy. How you doing? I can't add anything to the conversation. I never sold one. Well, I tell you, if you're a wise buyer, you'll never have to sell one. Me, wise and buying don't always go together. I see something I like and I really want it. That's about it. Hi, HP. I've never sold a watch. Trust issues. Yeah, I can see that. I've got I don't know. I There are ways you can sell a watch. I've got no problem with, a lot of different ways of selling. I'll tell you one thing that can be tricky is selling them outside of your own country. Um, like if I live in the US and I sell to someone in the US, it's between, me and Joe. If it's through Chrono 24, I don't know if they tag on taxes on the buyer's end or not, or through eBay. I've never tried to sell one on eBay before, but I bought them on eBay. So, how about the rest of them? Anybody else ever since? Friends and family, we have to toughen you up. Yeah, I know. I, I got, it's like if I'm just not, I don't know. There's, I can always find one that I really like at incredible prices. This is one example. This is one incredible example of a watch that I just dumb luck, super dumb luck. Because I had said, well, if you ever get to this price, let me know, and they did. That was it. Like, what? Wasn't expecting it. On the other hand, as a seller, if somebody gave me a sob story, I'd probably believe it. So, you know, this is my kid's tuition money I'm selling. She's going to Vanderbilt, and I gotta, I gotta take this away and give it to you. Oh no, don't do that. Oh man. Hey, Caesar, how you doing, man? Oh, you want to toughen me up? Okay. Oh, okay. Haven't any of you sold a watch before? Come on, I can't be the only one who sold a watch. Good things that come to wait. Truer words have never been spoken. If you know what you want, you know what you can afford. If you're patient, I tell you, Brian, that's I believe that. Hey, Thomas, how you doing? I sold lots of micro brand watches. I had recently about 20. I'm trying to consolidate my collection. I didn't get much for each watch, about 75 quid each. No, that's not much, but it's enough. You know, if you sold 20 of those, let's see, I'll say about 75 quid's about $100, 100 US dollars. So that would be, let me see, so 20, that'd be about 2,000 bucks you made. I can think of lots of you can put that to your watch collection money. Hey, Randy, I'm strictly buy and hold for now. Yeah, no, really. I think, I'm not a flipper, and I'm sure a flipper can do better than I can. I think anybody can do better than me. Uh, in terms of being a great, wheeler dealer. Um, but the thing is, I don't care. Hey, Rancher, now you talk about a wheeler dealer. Good God. Rancher could sell rowboats to desert rats. There's my man. He knows about that stuff. Hi, El Tiran. How you doing? Greetings from Alaska. We need watches here more than anyone since it's always daylight in the summer and always dark during the winter months. Yeah. Yeah, I know, my God. Um, I don't know how I could handle that. We we get pretty good. I mean, New England. We live in the southern part of New England. We all, instead of mint juleps or mint Long Island tea. Let's see. Don't take this the wrong way. You have a beautiful. Oh, you like my eyeglasses too. Yeah, yeah. Quiet luxury doesn't have to sell. I got, I tell you, my eyeglasses. I got them for two reasons. One, my other ones kept slipping down here. By the time I'm finished with the video, they would be here. And then, so I thought, well, I'll try some of these and see if they stay on. The other thing is, I wanted green ones, and believe it or not, these are a type of green. So I'm happy with my glasses. I like my other ones too, so I'll be back and forth with them. This is the time for bargain shopping, not selling. That's good to know. Hi, Eric. There are watches I want to offload, such as a Panerai Retomere, a JLC 1877 movement, but I've been too lazy. Eric, a lot of that, I tell you, I have a lot of watches that I've kept because I'm too lazy. Yeah, today, right now is a buyer's market, I guess, but I'm all bought out. All of my buying money is gone, except for the Fave Lubas I've been getting because they have the cool movement. They have the double barrels in parallel, and then they have the 18,000 semi oscillations per hour. Mm-mm-mm-mm. And I can work on them, and if I break them, I'll get another one. Those are sort of my Watt school, and then it's sort of like, well, I've worked on this kind of watch that's not a ETA 6498, like I want that when I took a course at the Horological Society of New York. Thomas, I'm about to sell my vintage Omega collection, 7 watches. I'm trying to save for a Brigade Classique. The market is down at the moment, though, so I'm not expecting a great return. Maybe I should wait. I don't know. Like I said, you're talking to the wrong person. I mean, I got the sales resistance of a fruit fly. I just, it's the enjoyment of a watch, of certain watches, is worth it. I had one. Here's another one here two, as a matter of fact. These two watches, uh, Rancher and I got this is my Urban Jorgensen I was wearing earlier today. We got this when Urban Jorgensen, I got this when Rancher got a platinum one. And we got them they were close to half price, brand new. And it was a deal that I found out about by, just sort of, because I just screwed up another deal, or actually Chrono 24 did, with this outfit in Japan, and a Papillon, who makes the Papillon? Daniel Roth Papillon, that just sort of bummed me out. And so I was bumming around, and I found the Urban Jorgensen and told Rancher about it. And I think we got a great deal. The other one is this one is an incredible watch. It's a Maritz Grossmann, and it's a watch I've always liked. But those things they're really expensive. And this guy had one in Dubai, of all places, and he didn't want very much for it. And I offered him not very much, and he took it. And had a really good chat with the guy. Really a cool guy. And what I did, and then somebody showed this Ming bracelet. I only have one watch beside this one with a bracelet, and all of the other ones are bands of some sort. But this was another good one. These were, I just super good deals, and they're out there. And the big thing, especially David, as a newbie, learn as much as you can about watches and horology before you buy, because you can find some great deals out there of really good horology. That's what I think is more important, because it's the most interesting thing that there is. And this one sort of clicked two things with that Hebdo Madar, which is always like the first movement, based on the first movement that Michel Parmigiani made, and then the pantograph. Those two things attract me rather than a lot of other things that attract people. Like, is it popular? Probably not. Do I care? No. Oh, what have you guys got going here? Um, no, it can be a buyer's market, but be careful. Yeah. Yeah. Always be careful. Always be careful. Always. There's That's one thing. I run into some characters, and if something doesn't feel right, walk away. I think that's the best advice I could give anybody. If it just I use the term, if their socks squeak, just walk away. You don't need it. There'll be another one. Another piece of Polonius advice is, the greatest best deal has yet to be made. So, oh, I was going to get a great deal, or I got a great deal. Well, you may have, but that's not the last one. There'll be more. Yeah. Eric, yeah, we could use an AI used watch salesman service for this community. Yeah, that's what they ought to do. I ought to go to AI and say, look, guys, hey, look, AI, help me out here. I want to sell this watch. What should I do? And they'll have some, Whiplash Willie or someone like that come up. Here's what you got to do. I don't know. Thomas, you mentioned a huge Omega fan, or Omega. I don't know how you guys say it. Uh, I like Omega too, but I like pre-swatch Omegas, and so vintage ones. And also, I think Rancher has done some really smart stuff with getting vintage gold watches, and then having the getting a dial and having it have a watchmaker um, fix it up for them. So you end up with a $20,000 watch that you can pick up for a very reasonable price. In fact, it's unreasonably good. That's how good it is. Hey, David. Let's see. Okay. My iPhone tells perfect time. Yeah, all of our iPhones tell perfect time. Don't worry about that. Some of these people, it's all they worry about. They worry about, I don't worry about waterproofness, except insofar as it has some water resistance, not because, so I can wash my hands and not worry about my watch stopping. That's about the only waterproofness I worry about. But if you worry about it too much, you can end up with a giant gasket, make your watch look ugly. Either that, or you're one of these, the backs of the watch, you can't see the movement. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, Thomas, I'd be interested to see what you think. What do you think about the Breguets, the new Breguets, the Swatch Breguets? Not the 318, but the other ones that have the silicon hairsprings. I'd be interested to see what a an Omega fan thinks of that. By the way, I don't know if you can see him or not. This is I'm going to try to. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to show you. I'll have to take some pictures of it. I can't. The thing I was Brian was had mentioned earlier today about the on a discussion we were having about the screws. The screws on uh, most hebdomadaries are just regular flathead screws that they use to hold in the back. The screws on this one are these little two dots. They're called two-hole screws, and so you need a special screwdriver that goes into the two holes just so because you can't do it with a Phillips head and you can't do it with a flathead. So they and I mentioned it's like don't don't let anybody mess with this watch kind of message. I think. Yeah, he would. Um, yeah. So was I tell you, I talked to Kari Voutilainen, and I said, "Would you ever use silicone hairsprings?" And he looked at me like I asked him if he had used plastic parts. No, never. Uh, the guys at Agenor feels the same way. It's like David just said. You get an iPhone, you're going to get the perfect time, or if you want better time, get a quartz watch. They keep wonderful time, and they're a lot cheaper. But if you want to enter into this insanity, then no. Okay, what else? Let's see. Come on, we got to need some more salesmen here. Hey, Andre, they don't want anyone messing with the hands. No, they don't. They don't, and I don't blame them. I don't want to mess with them either. Um, the hands. Well, we got one expert with hands. Brian is really good at putting these little small second hands right in the watch. He's sort of our hand expert. He'll tell you about those. He's the guy I'd let work on these for me. 3130, 3137. Oh, according to this, I'm way overdue. Okay, guys. So two JLCs on Chrono 24. Okay, that's we're out of time, guys. I'm sorry. I'll get in trouble. I got to work on my honeydew list. Hey, listen, uh, tomorrow is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all of you fathers. Um, I I hope you have a great one. Take care. Hasta mañana, some of you guys.